But oh boy, the New Jeans girls must feel so powerful since HYBE kind of listened to their request on keeping Min Hee Jin. So in that book, in How to Win Friends and Influence People, you always need to try and make people feel like the great idea came from them, because people are more likely to do what you want if they think that the idea came from them. So if HYBE can make New Jeans believe that all of these things are happening because of their ultimatum, well and good, because they're most likely to do what HYBE wants. So always remember that if the best tacticians and the best strategists are people who make people feel that they are important and that the idea came from them. Oh, there is somebody whose theory is that this shaman isn't just an ordinary shaman. This is a shaman that is also working for SM. How will this impact the reputation of HYBE as a global leader? I think they will come off looking weak. In the US, nobody's paying attention to that. Sometimes there's like Billboard will print and then Yahoo is going to reprint it, but no one's really paying attention to it because this is just another Tuesday in the US. All right, so for those who don't know yet, HYBE actually offered Min Hee Jin, and they did this before the 25th, which was the deadline that New Jeans gave HYBE. So they offered her a board of directors position for the next 5 years, co-terminus basically, to the remainder of the contract of New Jeans. And they offered her to continue producing for New Jeans until New Jeans' contract expire. However, they reject the demand for her to return as a CEO. So that's the gist of the offer of HYBE. Now, Min Hee Jin rejected the offer, and her number one reason is that the toxic clauses included in the contract is still there. And one of those toxic clauses is the power of HYBE to terminate the contract with their discretion, nobody else's discretion but HYBE. Now, HYBE said that in that offer, they are expecting that there will be a lot of negotiation. So it doesn't appear as if HYBE is giving her an offer and not accept, and is saying that take it or leave it. It doesn't seem that way. HYBE seems to be open to negotiate it, but they definitely said that they cannot give her back the CEO position. She can come back as a board of director, and continue producing for New Jeans. So my initial reaction is that this is too generous of an offer for somebody who tried to take down your company, tried to defame everybody in your company, all of your groups, tried to steal information, tried to destroy the reputation of the groups, of the management, and tried to get financial information of BTS more than anything else. So I was like, wait a minute, this is too generous of an offer. That was my initial reaction. But you have to think ahead, and that is what Hi Sugarlyn, and that is what the lawyers are there for. Remember that there is still a possibility for this case to actually go to court, meaning the girls, New Jeans, it's very possible that they will sue to terminate the contract, right? So that's very possible. So if you're a lawyer, your job is to make sure that whatever you do from here forward is something that, if presented to the court and read by the judge and analyzed by the judge, it will be to your favor and not to anybody else. So that means they have to exert reasonable efforts to resolve the problem. They can't just say, no, I'm rejecting the offer, I'm sorry, bye. They can't do that. Otherwise, the court is going to say you're not considering the company, you're not considering the artists. So they have to exert reasonable effort to resolve the problem. And so what they're trying to do is give them the heart or the essence of their request. And if you, in reasonable terms, the essence of their request is to be able to continue working with Min Hee Jin. So they're giving them that. Here is Min Hee Jin. You can continue working with her as your producer. She will control your creatives. It's just that she's not going to come back as a CEO. So as I've said, the court has to see they were trying to compromise, meaning HYBE, to reach an agreement. Okay? So yes, it is a long game, Cindy. That is it. You have to think ahead. You can't just react based on your current emotions. Also, you have to think business. I don't know how many, I'm sure many of you are into business. Either you are running somebody else's business, you're in a management or C-level position, or you have your own business, or you had your own business. But you know that employee turnover is very expensive. It's cheaper to actually keep an existing employee rather than terminate an employee and then train somebody else to take over the position. And this is specifically sensitive because this is the brand of New Jeans, which she built. And no matter, you can say whatever it is that you want to say about her, she did build the brand of New Jeans, and it's a good brand. And the success that they are experiencing is actually a proof of that. So, from a practical business point of view, it is just easier to keep her and allow her to run New Jeans brand, allow her to manage the brand of New Jeans. It is the most practical route to profitability. Keeping New Jeans now will mean the profit will continue coming in, and they are profitable. They're not as profitable as other groups, but they are profitable. And they don't need to deal with lawsuits. So it's like, okay, it's done. You're going to continue earning for the company. You're going to get what you want, and we will continue getting our profit. So you have to think on a business term. Remember, HYBE is still a business. They are there so that they can earn money. And the job of the lawyer is to give them the shortest and easiest route to profitability and still comply with the regulations and the law. Okay. If that happens, HYBE wins either way. If New Jeans continues to be successful, then HYBE profits, right? But if they fall, it's all on Min Hee Jin's hand. Nobody else can blame anybody because Min Hee Jin is the creative director. But the most important thing, I don't know if you've seen the movie, if you watched the movie Godfather, you have to keep your enemies close. And she is better, to be frank about it, with the kind of personality that she has, with absolutely nothing to lose at this stage. She's better within the bounds of HYBE, where she can be watched, than her running around loose doing whatever it is that she wants. Remember, at this stage, at this very moment, she has nothing else. She's lost everything. She's got nothing else to lose. And the most dangerous kind of enemy is someone who has nothing to lose, because they don't care anymore. They can just say whatever it is that they want to say. They can do whatever it is that they want to do. They have nothing to lose. And at this stage, it is HYBE who has everything to lose. So it is better if she is within the four corners of HYBE, within their backyard, where they can watch her, see her, and control her, rather than her going to wherever that she wants. But even when she's controlled, she still doesn't have control. She is controlled by HYBE. She doesn't have control. She has no power to impose because she's not the CEO, and she's still working under HYBE. So whatever it is that she produces, whatever it is that she does, it will still be under the property of HYBE. Okay. Remember that the best war plan is always deceptive. So it feels like this one is a very good move for HYBE, because it feels like they're giving in to the requests of New Jeans, which makes it clear that they are willing to do anything to resolve the matter. It's just that they are not giving her the CEO position. It is a very clever move. They're taking the high road. Yeah, high road, but it's really just more a tactical, not even a tactical, it's a strategic move. This is the route that will give them, as I've said, the bottom line, which is the profitability, and will allow them to watch her very, very closely. So she's not, she, if they let her go completely, then she will be, she's free to say whatever it is that she wants to say against HYBE, do whatever it is. But if she is within their house, then they can watch her closely. Will New Jeans continue to be isolated? I guess I have this feeling. By the way, these are all analysis. Okay, so this is not like this didn't come from HYBE or whatever. This is my personal analysis. Um, it feels like they kind of know that if they allow New Jeans to be managed by her, that the isolated culture will just continue, and I think they're okay with it now. Like, okay, if that's what you, that's what you girls want, then go ahead. But for as long as within the next 5 years they get what they want and what they need. Monitor her computer, email, and meetings every hour. Definitely, I think by now, one of the most valuable lessons that they learned is to never allow any kind of communication outside of the official communication channels. Did you see her interview she released this morning, 9:26? HYBE responded already, and it was a good response. Yes. So she gave out an interview, and she said some things. Like she accused HYBE of several things, or made some claims. One of which is that that HYBE offered her money and leave. Basically, that's what she's saying. That HYBE said, "Here is the money. Go ahead and leave." So HYBE refuted that. They said, "We never said that." Another thing that she said is that the audit was last minute, that it was just impulse. It was an impulsive decision, and HYBE said it wasn't an impulsive decision, that they've been conducting some internal and external investigations for several months already before the actual audit. And audits aren't usually announced. Director Min was fully guaranteed. And so they also said that she claimed that she was never given the autonomy that she wanted, and HYBE said no, she was given all the autonomy that she wanted. And that seems to be true, because all these things are happening because of her autonomy. And then she also claimed that HYBE gave Jeff Benjamin of Forbes, a writer of Forbes or Billboard, some negative PR about her, and they deny that. They said that there is no PR agency releasing any kind of statement that will defame her. And then regarding, they also explained the album sales in Japan. So the 1.02 million, which I will be discussing later, the 1.02 million were copies sold globally. In Japan, 100 copies were shipped, but it doesn't necessarily mean those were sold. It was shipped. So when they were certified gold, the certification was based on the number of copies that were shipped, that were shipped, not shipped, that were shipped. And the delay in the new album of New Jeans is because Min Hee-jin is delaying things. So they denied all of it. And they also said that, so Min Hee-jin also said that during the board meeting where she was fired as a CEO, HYBE didn't issue her a copy of the agenda, and HYBE is saying it's actually not required that we give her a copy of the agenda, but we did, and we gave it to her 3 days in advance. So yeah, so those are the new developments, the new interviews, that new information that came from HYBE.